and welcome to our Tuesday morning beginner workout filmed beforehand. So might be morning, might be a different time when you're doing it. I also have a little bit of a different setup here, so the camera is a little closer. We'll see how that works. And then the other thing is I'm just dressed like I look like I'm ready to go golfing. This beginner workout is fairly simple to do, so if you're just looking for a little bit of a movement break through your day, this is a great one. All you need is a chair or resistance band. There still is some resistance work in it, but you're not gonna have to worry about getting sweaty. It's not overly complex moves. I'm just in golf shirt and shorts, and I'm still gonna be able to do it. So hopefully you're able to do it as well, dressed however you are. We aren't gonna do too much of a warm up because with Mobilize, Activate, Stretch, I move some things around there. The warm up is built in. So we have 4 groups, 3 exercises today, 3 rounds, 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. The clock on my end, I still can't control it from my phone, so I'm just going to start it, and we will get right into it. But I'll just demonstrate some of these. So arm swings, we know I do those a lot. Like I said, you do need a resistance band for this workout. We can do band push-ups, which I put myself into the loop of the resistance band here. And I can do incline push-ups, adding a little bit of resistance by just having that band below my shoulder blades. If I'm not that advanced yet, what I can do is I can be on my back. I can, I'm still in that same position. I'm going to grab a little bit lower on this band, and I can do a chest press. And that's a little bit less resistance than a push-up, even if you're modified. So if you're a real beginner just starting out, sort of had no exercise tolerance or ability yet, that's a great place for you to start. And then our rotator cuff band stretch, we're going to do 15 seconds per side. We haven't done this one in a while, so I'm just going to grab it in my right hand. My right hand is going to come back, and the active hand here, so my right arm is going up and down, but I'm actually feeling it in my left shoulder. So the stretch comes, my left hand's holding the bottom, the stretch comes from me pulling up, and that left arm having to go along for the ride there. Really great stretch. Just sort of feel that one out. You can start far apart like me if you don't have great mobility. And sort of ease yourself into that. But we got 3 rounds, so we'll get going in 3, 2, and 1. Get right into my position quick. We only have 30 seconds. It's not too long. If you have a resistance band in your office or your workstation, this is a simple exercise you can add in. You can of course do your incline push-ups as regular or your push-ups as regular, but the resistance band just adds just a little bit of resistance. And I was supposed to start with the arm swing, so we're already off to a good start. So we'll go into our arm swings. Got a little bit ahead of myself. That's okay. Get all the mistakes out of our system right now. All right, so we're going to go into our arm swings. Maybe you saw the list and say, hey, that's not right. I'm starting with arm swings. Good on you. Just a great exercise to mobilize those chest muscles before we use them. All right, then we can grab our band and get ready for our rotator cuff band stretch. Again, the bottom arm is the arm that's working here. Essentially, that happens from me pulling up. And I like to lower just to give myself a little bit more mobility. If you just want it to be more of a true stretch, you're more than welcome to do that and sort of take that break when you need to. And we'll switch sides. And you might find that one side is a little bit looser than the other. And that's completely natural, but we try to work out that imbalance. Okay, so we'll go in the correct order for round 2 here. And we'll start with our arm swings this time. Coming across. And when I do the second exercise this time, I'm going to show you the chest press again. just so that you have a little bit of option. I know, like, if you're at a workstation in the plant, getting on the ground is a little harder to do these. But I still want to show you the option. So I like doing these workouts because it shows you, you don't always need to be dressed in athletic gear. You just need to be dressed to move, be able to move a little bit. I don't need to be in crazy athletic gear to do a few strengthening exercises. I'm not going to get too sweaty from it. I'm just going to use my muscles a little bit more than what I would use in a regular day. And we don't have to be perfect every day. Sometimes we just need to be a little bit better than doing nothing. All right, we're all done there. Go into our rotator cuff stretch again. So I'm grabbing two sides of the band here. If you find this is too much, you can always grab, we'll switch sides here. You can always grab a solitary side, and that makes it so that the bottom arm doesn't get as harsh of a pull for holding on for the ride. Okay, done there. Go back to our arm swings. At any point you need a break, just pause the video, take a little bit of a break. The other thing I like about these videos is, you can do group one. Group one takes 6 minutes. Group two takes 6 minutes. You can just take 6 minutes out of your day, schedule it in your day. Do a couple exercises. You're going to feel better for it because you're getting some movement throughout your day. And over time, you'll actually see some results. So with these arm swings, I alternate which arm's on top, but we're all done those. And I'll go back into that band push-up. So you can adjust your resistance rate by where I grab onto the band. If I grab nice and low, I'm going to have resistance on it the whole time. And I find these are great too. If you're going from like a wall push-up, it's another great way before you sort of transition to that incline to build a little bit more strength so that you're ready to do an incline and all your muscles are ready. So you're able to keep that nice straight line all the way down, all the way up through your range of motion. All right, last time with the band rotator cuff stretch. And if you wanted something different, you could do something just like a door frame stretch or handcuff stretch. Why I like to just show you this is, show you something different. A different stretch that you could do if you have a resistance band. This one works well with a towel as well. You can do this with a towel. You can do it with a garbage bag. But just a really great all-around stretch because most of the people who are going to be watching this video probably have some tight rotator cuffs. All right, so I'm just going to stop that, reset that, go on to round two. So really the only thing I don't even really need to show the seated band row, but I will just so you're prepared for it. Everything else being done. So our seated band row, we're just going to put the band around our foot, toes pointed towards our shin, chest up nice and proud, and then we pull our elbows past our body, keeping that chest nice and lifted throughout. You can, again, adjust the resistance on that if I were to double up the band around my foot. Now I got a decent amount of resistance on that exercise. We'll start with our hinged cheese. That's just where we're hinged and we flap our wings. And we'll get started on that in 3, 2, and 1. Starting with our hinged cheese. Hips back, chest lifted. Squeeze the shoulder blades in the back. Like we're flapping our wings. Chest stays lifted, nice straight, neutral spine. Getting used to moving those shoulder blades. Squeeze the shoulder blades in the back, like you're squeezing a pencil between them. So we got 10 seconds to transition to the floor. We do our seated band row. And I'm going to double up just to give myself a little bit more resistance. My chest is lifted. I pull my elbows past my body. Nice straight back. Just like if you were sitting on the machine at the gym. I have a little bit of lean. And that just gives me a little bit more resistance to play with. I'm not using a very heavy band. If you're using more of a heavy band, you probably don't need to do this. You could be a little bit more upright. Pull those elbows past the body. Keep your shoulders back and down at the end. You have that nice proud Superman chest. And then child's pose I didn't show you. You can use a pillow if you'd like to kneel on it, but hips are back. Hands are forward. I like to try to press my elbows into the ground and pull those towards my body as I do the child's pose. And that gives me more of a stretch in my lats. So I can target the lats and get my low back at the same time. And just go ahead and breathe. Awesome. So I'll show you a way you can modify that one if you don't like to be on the ground in that kneeling position. Same with the hinge tees, right? Like you could realistically stand up and squeeze the shoulder blades like this. But by hinging, you actually get a little bit of resistance there and helps with the mobility and strengthening the muscles in between the shoulder blades to allow them to move properly. Okay, so our seated band row. You could do this too standing, which makes it a little harder. What I do is I step on the band, find my resistance, hinge at the hips, elbows past the body, just like so. This is harder than the seated, so what you can do if you want to transition is it's already there. I can just transition nice and fast. So if I tire out because I'm in that hinge position from the hinge tees, but I want to continue to strengthen those muscles, so I do a bent over row instead, you can easily transition to that seated band row. So you can do child's pose standing too. I'm just going to use the couch instead of the chair here. I just push my hips back, hands are forward. I'm just leaning into that, and I have this to sort of support me so I can like fall back into it while holding onto the chair. And this, I find, definitely stretches more of the lats than the lower back. So just keep that in mind if you decided to go for this modification. This could be done on a chair as well. That's round 2. We'll go one more here with group 2, and we're halfway down. Hinge tees. Yeah, this is more for the mobility. If you wanted to try doing like a hinge Y, you could. Thumbs stay up. My arms are just in a Y position rather than a T position. A little hard to tell. There you go. Or the T, of course. The Y will get a little bit more of the front of the shoulder as well, the anterior deltoid, while the T more focuses on the rhomboids and the muscles in the back. Gotta get used to this new camera setup, but we are in our seated rows. The band is just above my heel. My shoulders stay back and down. And I pull my elbows past my body with my chest lifted, and my spine is neutral. with our child's pose. And we have legs and core. We're home free. The child's pose, I went a little bit early, that's okay. At any point you need a break in child's pose too, you can always just come up, right? Like you don't need to hold it for the full 30 seconds if you're not quite there yet. Time to go. 2 and 1. Awesome. So I just got to reset my clock again. We'll move on to group 3. So we have our dynamic pigeon pose, our figure 4 stretch, and our banded glute bridge. So our dynamic pigeon is probably the most complex out of the mobility. And you can take it as fast or as slow as you like, but I start in a high plank position. I cross my left leg over and I drop that knee down. If you want to go more advanced, you can go down onto your elbows and then back up. And then when you're ready, we switch, right? Just like so. The modification for that, as well as the figure 4 stretch, is going to be from the chair position. Dynamically, you can alternate moving forward like that. So that can keep you dynamic. Just cross over, lean forward. And then for the figure 4 stretch, you're just going to be holding it. I will show you another modification for the figure 4 stretch after I show you the banded glute bridges. So banded glute bridges, we're essentially going to grab the double side or our band, both sides of the band if you're using like a loop like I am. You're going to pin it to your hips. And then the resistance is going to come from you holding down while you push your hips up. Again, it's not a lot of resistance, but it's just enough to make a difference. And then for the figure 4 stretch, if you're close to the figure 4 and you want to try to do it on the ground, what you can do is you can use your band. So this is your normal figure 4 stretch. Hand goes through the hole and on the outside, and I pull that leg towards my chest. So I cross my left leg over my right, left hand through the hole, right hand on the outside, and I pull my right knee towards my chest. Well, I can use the band to go around my leg, and that allows me to stay on the ground. I can just pull that leg towards my chest without having to arch forward. All right, so a little bit more explanation in those 3, but we'll still jump right into it. So we'll start with our dynamic pigeon pose. 3, 2, and 1. Whether you're doing it modified or from the full high plank position, we just alternate, knee down, switch when you're ready. And if you want to make it a little bit more intense, go down onto the forearms, back up, and then switch. Down to the forearms, back up, and then switch. And I'll show the modification again from on the second round. But again, it's just crossing your leg over and leaning forward. Okay, so we go into our banded glute bridges. Again, I'm just anchoring the band at my side. You don't need to use the band. You can just be doing glute bridges or single leg glute bridges. We're just pushing up. If you move the band a little higher, it's a little harder because you're getting more resistance from the band. You can go single leg on this too. You can go into a march if you wanted to. If you do single leg, I suggest switching halfway through. Then our figure 4 stretch, we're just on the ground. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right, left hand through the hole, right hand on the outside, pull the right knee towards my chest, switch halfway through. Again, head should stay on the ground for this, right? We don't need to crane the neck. And we'll switch sides. Right hand through the hole, left hand on the outside, pull the left knee towards the chest. And and time there. Okay, so we're on to round 2 of group 3. I'm going to do everything modified here. Dynamic pigeon, I'm just crossing my left over my right, slightly lean forward. If you can't get your leg all the way up, you can always just try to cross it over a little higher or a little lower on the leg and get that lean. It's not as intense, but you know, it's certainly better than nothing there. Banded glute bridges, of course, we'll just take the band out, but I'm going to show you again, I'm going to show you the harder modification where we do single leg. So one leg stays parallel. And this is where I really notice the added resistance from the band. Like, this is tough. Switch sides. We just touch down on the ground for a little bit. And the banded glute bridge might be your best transition from going from a glute bridge to a single leg glute bridge. Then our figure 4, showing the modification with the band. I just cross my left leg over my right. The band is already under my right leg. Then I just pull my right knee towards the chest using the band. And we'll switch sides. Band just goes under the left leg now. Cross the right leg over the left. Pull towards the chest. I'm going to hold this a little past the 50 seconds. Just to give equal time there. All right. Last round of group 3. Going into our dynamic pigeons. Again, this is sort of like the intermediate where you just touch the knee down. And then the more advanced is going down onto the forearms, back up. I'm not in, like I said, athletic clothing, but I'm still able to do these maneuvers. I could be doing these in pants as well. Just wearing shorts for the heat. And then another alternate to the band glute bridges, if you still want to, work the leg. You do a band squat where I step in the loop, hinge at the hips, bend at the knees, and then the band just provides a little bit of resistance, not so much in the lowering phase, but definitely in the standing up phase of the squat. Just remember, we keep the chest lifted, spine parallel to the shins. Okay, one more here, just completely from the side. Good. And then our figure 4 stretch. The other modification, of course, just sitting on the chair, left leg crossed over, slightly forward, and we will hang out here instead of switching through it. There's plenty of different ways to stretch all sorts of different muscles. This figure 4 stretch and the chair stretch version of it with switch sides is great if you're at risk of sciatica. If you have sciatica, it really loosens up a lot of those muscles there. It's just a really all-around great stretch for how we normally live our life anyways. Counteracts a lot of tight muscles there. All right. Brings us to our last group where we don't need our band at all. Cat to cow, low plank, and cobra. We've done all those before, so we'll just jump right into it with cat to cow. So we're in the quadruped position. And I'll show you modifications for these two on round 2. Pucker chin, spine is rounded, spine is neutral, chin is neutral, and we just move through that on our own breath cycle. The modification is you can do this from a chair, from a couch. You don't need to be on the ground for this exercise. All right, then we move into the low plank, and you can do your low plank modified from the knees or from the toes. So we'll go ahead and for 30 seconds here. We just want to make sure we have that nice straight line. And if you find that the hips start to sag or they start to height, just modify and get perfect form. And when you're ready, you just go and you hold perfect form for a little bit. And then when you tire out, you can drop to the modified. And when you get a little bit more energy and you see there's only 8 seconds left and you think you can hold on for the 8 seconds, you go back into that full plank. That's like I talk about that all the time, where that exercise is really perfect for being able to modify on the fly without losing tension there. Cobra, push our hips into the ground, chest stays lifted. If you need a break on this one, you can go Cobra to child pose. We really try to lift the chest and push the hips into the ground, and you'll feel the stretch in the abdominals here, especially after working them so hard in that low plank position. Anytime you need a break, just go into that child's pose. All right. So I'll show you how you can do it from, a higher position like a chair or a couch. Chair works better for this because we have the handles. So I can arch my spine up, tuck my chin in, and then bring my spine to neutral and chin to neutral. I find this a little bit harder in terms of getting the form right, but the principle is all the same. And low plank we can do from an incline as well. You can use your chair. I like this couch because it's center frame. But I would go more into a high plank on the incline, and then just sort of walk my feet out to where I find a challenging point. And you could certainly do low plank on this as well. That's definitely a little bit harder than the high plank. But you don't always need to get on the ground. And like if this is like a very beginner exercise for you, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're not going to get any value from doing it throughout your day. If you have something where you can sort of hold a low plank on, do your push-ups on. Something's always better than nothing, even if it is very beginner for you. And then Cobra modification for this is just going in to that child's pose. You could certainly do a standing version of this, where we're just pushing the hips forward, getting the upper back, really pushing those shoulder blades back, making sure we have that Cobra shape in the front, but certainly a lot more effective from the ground. So, last set of our workout here. And the nice thing is the cool down is already built into this workout. So once we're done this group, we're all done. I really like this workout for that purpose, where it's like, okay, I have everything I need in a group to get a little bit of movement into my day. This workout's not going to get you jacked or anything, but if you're trying to be a little healthier and make small steps, it's going to for sure help you with that. So with our low plank, my elbows are under my shoulders, and then I have a nice straight line from shoulder to ankle. And anytime I need to drop, I go into that modified position. Show you from the front real quick. It's the flatness looks like. Not the best angle, I know. I'm still getting used to this camera setup. To modify, you just drop your knees. And we have our Cobra. With the Cobra, my legs are straight. I push my hips into the ground. Hands are under my shoulders. Chest is nice and proud and up. And at any point, I need to just give myself a break from that. I can go into that child's pose, hold it for a second, and right back into the Cobra. On each breath, you should really try to sink those hips a little bit lower. And you probably find this a lot easier on round 3 than you did round 1 because you're a lot more loosened up now. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed that workout, whether you did it all at once or whether, throughout your day you did a group at a time. Let me know what you thought of it, if you liked it. Let me know if you didn't like it. Let me know. I'm always happy to address questions, comments, and concerns. And I will see you in the next video on Thursday where we do our HIIT workout. Have a great day, everyone.